Well, Imran Khan will be facing his biggest challenge, in fact, the political challenge of his life, as Islamabad High Court has fixed a date to indict the former Prime Minister in contempt of court case. That looked very simple at the start, but Imran's refusal to apologize and leave him at the mercy of the court has complicated things. He has twice submitted his reply in the case, and both replies were rejected by the court, saying that Imran Khan is not understanding the gravity of the matter and trying to sort of explain things in his own manner rather than realizing that he has done a wrong thing by threatening a female Islamabad judge. In this case, Islamabad High Court has fixed the date for 2 weeks from now, which is 22nd September. But before that, Imran Khan has the option of contacting or approaching the Supreme Court to stop these proceedings. And as per my information, this is likely to happen. So, if that happens, the Supreme Court will take up the matter and freeze the proceedings at Islamabad High Court. This is obviously conditional to Imran Khan's challenging the Islamabad High Court order of indictment in the Supreme Court of Pakistan. Imran Khan in his rallies have been saying things about the institutions which deemed very aggressive, and he's trying to give an impression that his ouster from office was not due to PDM but due to some institutions who tried to oust him. In this case, he has repeatedly said and questioned why courts had opened 12 midnight on the day of his ouster from the assembly through a vote of no confidence. Legal experts say that once the indictment happens, it'll be very, very difficult for him to escape the punishment. We haven't seen many cases in which a person has been indicted on charges of contempt of court, but it could be a first that if Imran Khan, after indictment, again files a reply and leaving himself on the mercy of the court, that the court might take a lenient view and pardon him, or with a warning, as was done by the Supreme Court in 2013. The game is still very wide open, or I would say the case is still very wide open, despite the fact that the Islamabad High Court order of today will have complications for the former Prime Minister, because a date of indictment has been fixed, and for Imran Khan, the only option left is either to challenge it in the Supreme Court if he wants to fight the case, or on the day of the indictment, he would file another reply and leaving himself at the mercy of the court with an unconditional apology. The problem in this case has been that he is trying to shy away from submitting an unconditional apology. And first, in his reply last week, he said that he didn't mean to ridicule or threaten the judge, and he thought that she's not a judge and she's a magistrate who was controlled by the government, which was rejected by Islamabad High Court. Today also, he said that he has deep regrets, and whatever he has said about the judge was at the spur of the moment and it was not intentional. But court today said that he needs to understand the gravity of the matter. The court also make a comparison between the earlier convictions by the Supreme Court of PMLN leaders Danial Aziz and Talal Chaudhry. Chief Justice Islamabad High Court observed that both of the PMLN leaders were sentenced to contempt of court because they attacked the court, they blamed the court, and they scandalized the court. In this case, the Chief Justice observed that in Imran Khan's case, this is a case of criminal contempt, and the cases of the PMLN leaders were of judicial contempt. And the court also observed that this is more serious than the judicial contempt. So many lawyers that I've spoken to claim that criminal contempt, very few people actually come out of this without a punishment. So we have to see whether Imran Khan, as his political opponents say, is a ladla, or and he is not being pursued by the courts as the way they were pursuing the now parties in the government, or the PDM. We've seen the cases against PMLN leaders. We've seen the cases against the PPP. So, and we've seen strange interpretations from the apex court, that is the Supreme Court of Pakistan, quoting Black Law's dictionary, which was never mentioned by anyone in Pakistan's jurisprudence or the judicial history. But the courts had gone out of the way to punish the PMLN leaders, and particularly the PMLN head Nawaz Sharif, and they have been lenient with Imran Khan, whether it was his dharna, whether it was his allegations of rigging. Both were dismissed by the Supreme Court with a warning to Imran Khan. But Imran Khan, I think, is angry over his ouster. Naturally, he would be. And in his rallies that he is doing one after the other, is also targeting the institutions, particularly the establishment, as well as at times the judiciary. So we have to see that what comes out of this case. But as I said, and as many of the legal experts are saying, that criminal contempt is more serious than the judicial contempt. And we've seen sentences happening in judicial contempt, whether it was Nihal Hashmi, whether it was Talal Chaudhary, or whether it was Daniel Aziz. So within 2 weeks will determine what will be the political fate of Pakistan's one of the most popular leaders, I would say, because the kind of support that he's enjoying on the streets is unparalleled, or at least at par with former Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. So very interesting proceedings coming up, very interesting next 2 weeks, because he'll be addressing more rallies. We have to see whether he will tone down his aggression towards the institutions, or whether he will continue his rhetoric and tirade against the institutions.